Greetings, I'm Herbert Erpaderp, and surely you've always wanted to know what's inside this box. I know you can't read those mystic runes on the front, but the translation tells us the contents is a 35th scale French Somua S35 from Taimya. But how can we be sure? It could be anything in there. Well, today we find out. Much to my, and I'm sure your surprise, there's a bunch of plastic sprues in here. These are Taimya sprues.
Oh, Taimya sprues in a Taimya box! What a surprise!
What I mean, though, is that it's reasonable to expect they are well made. And they are. They're crisp, neat, and there are no moulding errors. None that I can detect anyway. This is a 2015 tooling, so it's 11-ish years old now, but even Tamiya's really old mouldings are still quite good. So if you want a kit you can just cut off the sprue and glue together, you are almost in luck. You will have to do a little bit of cleanup, mostly where you clip the parts off the sprues, and a few minor mould lines here and there. Certainly nothing that would cause anybody except the biggest of babies any kind of stress. The parts might be nice and neat, but are they historically accurate? No. The real thing was made from metal and was comprised of significantly more parts. Oh, that's not what you mean when you ask that? Well, I'm no Somuatologist. I'm not even sure if I'm saying Somua correctly. I don't have the knowledge or expertise to really comment on the accuracy of the model. Tamiya certainly aren't known for their hyper-detailed models, and that's no different with this kit. That's not to say it's bad or inaccurate. Far from it. It's quite nicely detailed, and it looks accurate to me.
Didn't you just say you weren't an expert?
Something like that, but that's not the point. Some people are certainly going to be more picky in this regard than I am, but I would say for the average modeler looking for a nice S35 that this would be a great choice. It would probably make a good base for adding aftermarket detailing parts too. Some of you may have observed that some of these parts kind of look like a human. I don't know what that is, probably just some extra unrelated parts. Seriously though, the crew figure does look rather good. I won't be using it, but if I did want a crew figure, I'd be very happy with this one. There's 2 sprues worth of wheels. There's really quite a lot of them. As with every other part, these look rather good. I'm sure you can see that in the pictures, and you don't need me to tell you, but I'm telling you anyway to avoid dead air. The more astute amongst you may have noticed that there are no tracks on any of these sprues, and it's not because the Somua S35 doesn't have tracks, it does. And fortunately, it's not because the kit includes the dreaded rubber band tracks. It's because there's a nice big bag of individual links. In my experience, this is a bit unusual for a Taimya kit. I assume, maybe, it's a little bit more common in the newer kits. I'm sure it is quite upsetting for some of you, but they're not really that bad. If you watch my streams, you'll know that I finished this build quite a while ago, so I've done the tracks, and I'm here to say they're pretty decent. They clip together pretty well, though you do have to be careful with them, or they'll come apart, but as far as individual links go, these are some of the better ones. There's a clear sprue for the clear parts.
It wouldn't make sense if it was for opaque parts, would it?
No, I guess not. These are obviously for things like headlamp lenses and the rear light assembly, which is mostly opaque. Not much to say about this, it's pretty much what you would expect. This baggie not only has the very exciting polycaps that I know you all love and adore, but there's also some chain. It looks and behaves much more like a real chain than a plastic molded chain would, probably because it's real chain. Here's the decal sheet. It looks like there are markings for 3 paint schemes here, and they do look good. They're about what I would expect from Tamiya's decals. The instructions look pretty well how you would expect from a Taimya kit. They're neat and well laid out, and you shouldn't have any trouble understanding them. Not even old Herbert got confused. Well, not that confused anyway. It is fun, but it's not really an especially complicated build, so the instructions reflect that. In addition to instructions, you get this background information pamphlet. There's some information, which, obviously, but what I really like is that there's a nice paint and marking guide printed in colour. I mean, it's not the 1960s, colour printing isn't some amazing new thing, but it is still nice to see, and it's not as common as I would like. There's also a couple of nice colour detail photos. I quite like that as well. Good job, Taimya. That's what's in the box. Mystery solved. It's enough parts to build a 35th scale Somua S35, and that's what I've done. I built the kit, and I have the clip. Why not show you what it looks like when it's built? I think it looks pretty good. What do you think? Because it is built, there will, of course, be a build video. That'll be coming soon. Very soon. Alternatively, if you are watching this about a week after it's been uploaded on YouTube, you can find a link to the build video in the description. Go check it out. If you've got any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the comment section below. If you'd like to watch me build kits like this one live, I stream modeling a couple of times a week. There's a link for that in the description too. Subscribe here if you want to see more of this kind of thing. Share the video with anybody you think might find it helpful. And if you really like what I do and you want to see videos a bit early, consider supporting on Patreon or Ko-fi. Again, links in the description. Take care of yourselves, be excellent to each other, and thanks for watching. Farewell.